Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, we welcome you to the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your viewing environment. We are here broadcasting live from the FijiWater.com sponsored studio every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time to discuss whatever topics might be important to you, whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. You can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships. You can talk about your present and discuss your future right here in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, which is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is not just water. This is Fiji Water at FijiWater.com. And for those of you who continue giving on the gift segment of our app at New Life Delaware, and those of you who have made a weekly or monthly commitment to support the broadcast by giving on the give segment of our websites, on the contribution pages of our websites at New Life Ministries International and New Life International CDC.com. We thank you for your support and for your commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here for you in 3D to discuss whatever topics are important to you and whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. Here's the good news. God is concerned about that which concerns you. And that's why we are here, so that you have a place to go and hear from God right here in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers, but be mindful that we are Facebook Live, we are YouTube Live, and we are RadioFreeNetwork.com live. Go to RadioFreeNetwork.com, click on radio, the drop box will appear, click on the New Life link, and every broadcast will be available to you. And for all of our listeners and viewers, also be reminded that on Thursday, the first Thursday of every month, on this Thursday, with us right here in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, BeccaTheDietitian.com, Rebecca Buva, licensed and registered dietitian and nutritionist, will be with us to address all of your questions about health and wellness right here in 3D. She will share with you the insurances that she currently accepts, and you can follow up with your insurance company to see how you might take advantage of using her services. So we received a communication from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you feel as though you are continuing to be successful. However, you feel right now that you are just going through the motions day by day and do not know how to get to the next level. And let me begin by saying this. So, first of all, to God be the glory. You've got into that realm of success. You feel that you are having the success that you desire to have your entire life. And now you've arrived there. However, success is ever evolving. And so the good news is that you realize that you haven't arrived. It's not a success is not a destination. It is an evolving process in our lives, because we first of all learn to become successful. We work to become successful. And then we have to work to maximize that success. So that's what you are making reference to when you say you don't know how to get to the next level. But the good news is you realize you haven't arrived. The next step after maximizing your success is to experience the fullness of God. So And then we'll talk about maximizing the fullness of God. But the good news is you have become successful and you're continuing in that success. Now let me tell you what it looks like to go to the next level. So first of all, and this is for all of our listeners and viewers also, because first of all, the next step is to really fine-tune your Christian walk, your spiritual experience. Fine-tune that means to fine-tune that. So I'm going to use an example, because as I was reading your communication and as I was just prayerful about your communication and just listening to what the Lord was speaking to me, I was reminded of the fact that we have a grand piano, a baby grand piano in our, well, it's in our living room. And that grand piano really isn't quite such a baby, but it's a standard size. It's not a long, elongated grand piano. It's a standard size grand piano. And so that piano has a particular, I want you to stay with me, a particular sound to it. And it has an enriched sound when you strike the keys. But it has to be tuned. It has to be tuned continuously to get the right sound. Our Christian walk and our spirituality has to be fine-tuned also. So it has to be tuned. And the only way that it can be tuned effectively and efficiently is to understand something that I talked about in the Sunday sermon, which is WWW. You know, the way of God, the will of God, and the word of God. So we have to really seek the way of God, the will of God, and the word of God. Probably want to reverse those only in the sense of you've got to get really into the word of God to really enhance your spiritual experience, to be able to walk this Christian walk, maybe not perfectly, but being perfected daily. We have to really seek the will of God. So what is God's will for your success? And then what is God's way for your success? So it begins, first of all, with our Christian walk and our spirituality, meaning being inspired, the Spirit inspiring us to be a better version of ourselves. And then the way of God is the revelation. What is God revealing to you? To not just go through the motions, because right now you feel like you're on autopilot with your success. It happens every day. Your success is present in your life, but you now need revelation. And then you've got to develop the revelation. So most people don't think about this, but once the revelation has been revealed to you by God, then you have to develop and shape the revelation, just as God has developed and shaped all of us. You know, we've been on the potter's wheel, and you have to develop the revelation. Okay, this is what it looks like. This is what I need to do to bring the revelation to fruition. Yes, it's the power of God working in you and through you, but you have to do the physical manifestation. You have to be involved in that process. So you've got to really seek to have the revelation of God presented before you. You know, it's through your mind's eye. The success you can do every day. You can work this every single day because you're competent and you know how to work it. That you can do without missing a beat. But it's that next level. So you've continued in your success to this point. Now maximizing the successes at the next level. And doing that, you have to make God your partner in all that you do. So what does that look like? It means that, you know, obviously to have success, everything we do, we must do unto the Lord, to have real success. And then we have to say, okay, I'm going to work pleasing unto God as unto the Lord. I'm going to work pleasing unto God. I understand that in order for me to get to the next level of success, I've got to work a plan that is pleasing unto God. And what does that look like? So there's moving parts to this. So what does that look like for me? So I know that it's God's will that I prosper and be in good health, even as my soul has prospered. So now I have to identify what that prosperity looks like. You know, don't get caught up in the religious rituals that, you know, are being taught. But what does that prosperity really look like for me? I'm successful, and to maximize my success, I also have to determine how I can give back, how I can have an impact on society. And this is what a lot of people miss. The opportunity to be entrepreneurial or the opportunity to go into business has to be based on what need can I provide, or what problem can I solve for society. And then I'm going to work to that end, whether it is, you know, establishing your own business, or whether it is, you know, going to the next level professionally. And I don't want to get ahead of myself because it'll lead me into another communication, but, you know, my own professional development will then lead to an increase in my income in my career, which then will allow me to not be selfish or self-consumed, but allow me to have an impact on society by giving back in a way that God would be pleasing unto God. So these are all the moving parts that have to go on in your mind. And as you do that, you're going to find that you'll begin to be inspired. What can I do to get to that level where I maximize my success and then begin my path to experiencing the fullness of God, so that you're full, that you're whole and complete, and then that you're full of the Spirit that allows you to be inspired to continue going to the next level. Not just continue to be successful, but continue to go to the next level. See, what happens often is when we become successful, we become complacent. I'm good with my success. I've got everything I need. I don't want for anything. But now I need to go to the next level. And the fact that you are questioning how to get to the next level says that you're ready to go to the next level, that you've been inspired to go to the next level, that where you are right now is not enough. And not because you want more for you, but because you want to do more for the Lord. You want to do more for God. God is tugging on your heart to do something beyond where you are right now, beyond just having success. We've got to make certain that everything that God pours into us to fill us up will be eventually poured out to impact the lives of others, to impact the society in which we live. That's how we will get to experience the fullness of God. And then we have to learn to maximize the fullness of God. And we'll talk about that again in subsequent broadcasts. But this is a really, really powerful question. So I hope that all of our listeners and viewers had some takeaways from getting the revelation of how we can get to the next level, and then developing that revelation so that we can be inspired to work to accomplish the next level. Because that next level is in God. But we have to make certain that we do everything decently in order, and that we take the next steps to get to the place that God has appointed and purpose for our lives. This segment of the broadcast has been brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will place you into our queue so that you may become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill at T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you have completed all of your goals for this year right now, at this time. And you want to know if you can take a break for the holidays, or should you begin working the goals that you set for the coming year. So let me say this. To God be the glory. You know, it's a sense of fulfillment when we can get to this point in the year and when we've accomplished all of the goals that we set for this year. That means that we are ahead of where we would like to be as a person, but we're right where God would have us to be. Listen, the fact that you have completed all of your goals for this year, this is where God wanted you to be right now, so that you can be ahead of the curve, for lack of a better term. So that you could be, one of the things I would always tell people over the years, even before I became a clergy, is that this time of the year, when most people are celebrating holidays and we all celebrate them. I celebrate Thanksgiving and the birth of Christ on Christmas, but this is the time for us to get ahead. When everyone else becomes stagnant during the holidays because they're, from Thanksgiving until New Year's, they're just having holiday. But the reality is, this is a time for us to get ahead, to get an early start on the goals that we've set for next year. This is a good time to do that. This is a time when you can really say, okay, I've got everything else that I've set for this year accomplished. Now let me finish this year strong, and by starting on the goals for next year. Starting early to work. So in answer to your question, no, don't take a break for the holidays. There may be some things that you might adjust on your calendar because you have the time to make those adjustments, but don't take a break for the holidays. Just keep working. Keep working on the goals that you set for next year. Personal goals and professional goals. It's real important. I will share this. we have set goals for, and all of us should have done this. We've set goals for our health for this year. We've set goals for our careers for this year. We've set goals for personal and professional development for this year. And now if you can say on November 30th, I'm done with all of my goals for this year. Completed. There may be one or two things that you have scheduled to be done that are going to be done on schedule because, whether they're doctor's appointments or whatever procedures or whatever the case may be, they may have to be done on someone else's schedule, and that's okay. But you've got them scheduled and they're going to be completed before the year ends. So that's completed also. That's completing the goal. So now, having said that, it's time to focus on getting started on next year's goals. So, because we wrote a 7-year plan, we've been on the air now with 3D for 4 years. Time has gone by quickly, but we've been on the air for 4 years. We all have written a 7-year plan. That means we've still got 3 more years of that plan to pursue. Let's get started. Let's get started on it. While everyone else is on holiday or taking holiday, let's get started on it. Let's make certain that we don't delay our destiny taking time off just because we've gotten everything completed. This is a time to get ahead of the curve. So I'm going to encourage you to get started. I know I'm getting started on next year. Literally getting started on next year. Later this evening, I'm going to, because I haven't gotten my calendar yet for 2022, I'll have that today. I do know that. And I'm going to begin working on next year, which part of the 7-year plan. I'm going to begin working on that. I encourage you to do the same. And I encourage all of our listeners and viewers. Let's get started. Don't delay. Let's get started so that we can get ahead of the curve. This is where God wants us to be. He wants us to be ahead. He wants us to start getting ahead because that's where we are. If you haven't completed all of your goals for this year, let's get them completed. Finish the year out strong. We've got the whole month of December to finish this year strong. And I encourage everyone to do that. This segment of the broadcast has been brought to you by Charles Tyrwhitt, located in London, the UK. They also have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and at the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. So if you're in any of those areas, stop in at your retail stores. They have everything a man could possibly need. They have shirts for men, ties for men, suits for men, and accessories. If you're not in any of those areas, you can order from Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com. They will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. And the White Company, located in London, the UK, and they also have a store on 5th Avenue in New York. If you're in New York, stop in at their retail store. They have everything you could possibly need. Home goods, clothing for men, women, and children. And if you're not in New York, you can order from the White Company at thewhitecompany.com. They too will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you are really focused on how to increase your income in the coming year, and you want to know, you said in your communication, what are my thoughts? Okay, so I'm going to tell you part of my daily prayer is that the thoughts of God will become my thoughts. That's part of my daily prayer. Let your thoughts become my thoughts. So I'm just going to give you the thoughts of God that God has given to me. And, obviously one of the ways that you can increase your income in the coming year is professional development. So let me just make sure that everyone is on board with this. If you are currently employed by a company, not if I'm going to get into business owners or being self-employed in a moment. And then I'm going to get into those who are entrepreneurs, serial entrepreneurs. I'll get into that too. Maybe not today, but at some point in the interest of time. But here's the reality. If you're employed by another company, by a company, any company, the most effective way of increasing your income in the coming year is to have already focused on professional development. If you haven't done that as of yet, you have time now. Professional development leads to promotion. See, this, we really don't spend as much time on our careers as we do going to work every day. That's what we really have taken the concept of having a career as something that I just go to work every day. I go to work and I do the job. And depending on what kind of mood you're in, on any given day will determine how most people will do their job. That's not the most effective way to increase income. So for you to increase your income in the coming year, professional development. And what I mean by that is becoming the best version of you that you possibly can become. Now, you could work all year next year and at some point in the last quarter of the year be promoted. That will increase your income. The goal is just to get an increase. So that may not happen if you haven't done the necessary work to become the best you that you can become. You'll get a cost of living increase, but you might not get a promotion which would give you a raise in the first quarter or the second quarter or the third quarter of next year. But by the fourth quarter, you can have put in enough work on your professional development that will lead to not only a cost of living increase, but a raise and or promotion that will lead to an increase in income. So this is real important that you recognize that if you really want to increase your income, it's going to begin with professional development. That's the first thing. However, developing entrepreneurship will be important for you also. Find something that you enjoy, that you can establish a small business. Maybe a service business, provide a service. And in your case, I'll just tell you, God allowed me to see in that secret place of your life. You have the ability to do some contract work in addition to your career. You can, based on your skill set, your gifts and talents, your skill set, you have the ability to do some contract work that will generate some additional income. That will increase your income for the year. But you have to be willing to do that as opposed to focusing on your social calendar. You have to be willing to do that contract work. And having said that, that will increase an additional diversified stream of income for you. Because that's the other way of increasing your income in the years ahead, is to create streams of income, different sources of income. And if you focus on that, you're going to find that you will continue to increase your income in the years to come. 3D, today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast has been brought to you by Fiji Water. A taste of paradise will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. May God bless you today. May God keep his face turned towards you. May God give you peace that surpasses all understanding. Have a great day today. I look forward to being in your